Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Thank everybody for tuning in. This is just one of those things where I know that I always say we cannot rush. You cannot rush perfection. Dallas Cowboys, everybody out here in the nation, you guys understand how this thing goes, right? They trying to squeeze, and you don't want to squeeze into the situation. You don't want to rush in anything in life, just like a relationship. You want to figure out who's all on the party, who's all inside the mix. And with that being said, we got to figure out a way how we can just sit back, relax. A good salesman, when he gets a deal to you or he sells a deal to you, he do not make it feel like you were sold. It was feel like something that you wanted the whole time. And I believe wholeheartedly, I really believe that even with that being said, is the Dallas Cowboys have a way, and I mean an absolute way of figuring this thing out, whether it be a third round draft pick or beyond. But they do not need to rush into this deal. They need to just sit back, relax, and I got you guys for about 15 minutes. So shout out to Rosa, shout out to Mitch and Silver and Blue Nation, shout out to you too as well. They do not need to rush into this Earl Thomas situation. Sit back, sip your Kool-Aid, and just relax on the whole matter. Because with that being said, they got some dogs out there in the draft that we can get that can supplement this defense. What I'm saying is just that Earl Thomas is just maybe the cherry on the top. But with that being said, shout out to Brandon Griggs too as well. Minka Fitzpatrick, he might fall or slip in the draft. Josh Jackson, he might fall and slip in the draft. But to me personally, you still focus and stay true to what I'm saying. Is that the core? Vita Vea out there in the mix. You got to stay true to the core. Hey, we have 2 4th-round picks possibly. Of trading 1 4th and the 5th. This is from X McLovin. Yay, it very much so. Evan, please. Hey, you get Rashaan Evans, you may have a better chance too as well of just saying, okay, I got my linebacker. We do know we need help in the linebacker situation. But on top of that, in the 2nd round, we know that Jerry Jones is going to do what Jerry Jones wants, and that will be actually going out and getting a wide receiver. That's just how it goes with that, guys. Let me know if it's choppy, because I'm trying to change the byte rate or bit rate. I got that from DDP. He said change the bit rate. So let me know if it's choppy this time. Let me know if I'm clear, because I really don't know until after the production is done. All right. I say our 3rd round, we need the 2nd round pick. Yeah, Cal, I'm with you. I'm saying get rid of our 3rd round pick. I mean, that's would be the perfect opportunity. Rashaan Evans is a must. Clear as day. Good. I love this. Yes, I'm finally clear. Yes, man. I've been talking about, chopping and all this stuff, so I'm glad that I am clear to you guys. Please do not get Van Der Esch. We've been crying like that all this off season for the draft. Please do not go get Van Der Esch. Evan is a must again. I see that out there. We need a Calvin Ridley. Isn't the Calvin Ridley is us doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, expecting different results? Now, although this wasn't a 1st round draft pick, but it kind of sort of was. A Joey Galloway. You guys remember that in the early 2000 phase, we thought that we needed that one receiver to help push us over the edge, and he only played about 3 games for us. Went to Tampa Bay and balled off. And then we do the same thing with Roy Williams, the wide receiver. We did the same thing, thinking that another wide receiver that can complement a T.O. And then did we do that with T.O.? I mean, and then did we go out there and draft a Dez Bryant? Not saying this is not a Dez Bryant hate, because I know all the Dez Bryant apologists saying, oh, there you go again, Law. There you go again. You can't go 2 days without talking about Dez Bryant. But what I'm saying is that we've been trying to seek a Michael Irvin since Michael Irvin left the field. How about let's just give up on wide receivers right now? Let's focus on this running back, this offensive line, and focus on this defense. Let's get this defense together, and let's have a dominant present defense, because last I checked, within the last 10 to 15 years, there was not a dominant wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. That guy I got on the picture behind me, he pretty much is an enforcer out there who got range and he can cover everywhere on the field. That's somebody that we need. Somebody like that. Get Payne and in the first, or even Evans. And they talking about, when somebody say Payne, they talking about Darren Payne. There's Tone Sosa. Hey, we need to figure out a way not to rush into the Earl Thomas. This is the focus of the conversation. Do not rush in Earl Thomas, Dallas Cowboys. Somehow, listen to me. If I don't have to say no other word, but do not rush. You don't want to rush into a relationship. You don't want to rush into buying a house. You don't want to rush into buying a car. Why not? Don't rush into the situation of trying to say, okay, this guy is everything, and I'm going to give up a second round draft pick for him. That's just too much scanning. Knowing, and you know for sure that the Seattle Seahawks is willing to get rid of him next year because he's not going to renew his contract next year anyhow. I would rather, believe it or not, I would rather for us to go grab a Jesse Bates and then sit back and say, okay, Earl Thomas, you eventually going to come to me. Just like a spider out there. You know, a spider doesn't go out and hunt his prey. Spider casts his web and have his prey to come to him. And that's how I want us to have that type of mindset, that type of philosophy out there. A third round is just sweet and gold for us right now. You know, I would settle with that. And then I'll tie in some conditions beyond that. You know what I'm saying? If you guys feel what I'm saying on that. He's too old and can't waste a year. Silver and Blue Nation. Hey, shout out to you, man. Hey, the thing is, as far as age, just look at the bigger picture. Charles Woodson. Everybody counted Charles Woodson out. And I do know that people are going to pull up stats and say, hold on, Law. Earl Thomas, you calling Earl Thomas Charles Woodson. But no, what I'm saying is I'm trying to craft this thing together. And what I'm saying is, if you take a Charles Woodson type of defensive minded player and you put him and elevate him, or pretty much he's going to elevate the defense. If you put him in this Dallas Cowboys defense, don't you know that the Cheeto Bay Awuzie play is going to get better. The Xavier Woods play is going to get better. And a Jordan Lewis play is going to get better. So that's what Charles Woodson will be able to do, right? So imagine what an Earl Thomas is going to do too as well. If we're talking about percentages, he's going to help elevate everybody out there in the secondary. You can close your eyes and say to the high heavens, Earl Thomas is going to be the dog out there for this defense. He's going to make sure that Jordan Lewis is lined up right. He's going to make sure that Jalen Smith is lined up right. And we do know that the Sean Lees of the world, the Sean Lee, when he's out there, he knows everything. Can you imagine having another brain out there like a Sean Lee? That is who Earl Thomas is. And that's what he's going to bring. Now, as far as that front four, hey, as long as Rod Marinelli can put his sauce on that front four, I'm okay. In the situation with David Irvin, hey, the old lady that he needed to drop her, but hey, she got the bipolar situation going. Maybe they're gonna overlook that, right? So you got David Irvin out there on the outside. You got Malik Collins, and you got your possible Vita Vea in the inside, and then you have D-Law. And then you're going to sprinkle in a Taco. You're going to sprinkle in a Randy Gregory. See, guys, I'm trying to rush myself. But you're going to sprinkle in these guys. And trust me, I know. Tyrone Crawford. He's a coach's pet, a coach's favorite. So we don't look to get rid of Tyrone Crawford. It is what it is. He's going to be on the team regardless of the scenario or the situation. We need a top TE, and that's pretty much for the NGE said we need a top tight end, basically. It's not going to happen as long as Jason Witten is out there on the field. It's just not going to happen. Who else we got? We need a Gronk type of tight end. That's what he's saying. I mean, there are some Gronk type of tight ends in his draft, but as long as we have Mark my word, as long as we have Jason Witten, I just don't see a grunt type of tight end getting ready to play out there. Draft Derwin James. Let me see. Your comment is strolling away from me. Somebody said Derwin James. I like Derwin James. He's physical. Me too. I like to have $1 million, but I just know that $1 million is not going to happen tomorrow, right? It takes time, right? You know, they always say the first million is hard to make. And I just don't see Derwin James getting past the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I could be wrong. I did saw Brett Coleman. He had Derwin James going 23 overall. I'm talking about if he goes 23 overall, he's going to have a massive chip on his shoulder. And I hate to be the guy that's going to be lined up across him when it's time for him to lay the wood. It's going to be just vicious. Sid Vicious, nasty. It's just going to be just totally nasty. Guts and everything going everywhere. But my thing is that he's not going to drop to 23. And I do know that he was coming from the aspect of a GM. But no 23, no 22 GMs are going to pass up on Derwin James. If they do, then there's something wrong with everybody. I need to be a GM somewhere. Rico Gathers is Gronk Law. Rico Gathers need to get out there on the field. Before I can just make any type of comparison, right now I want to do Rico Gathers film, but guess what? I don't have no film to go to. That's just the bottom line. Rico Gathers, whatever he's doing on the offseason, I really want to see him out there making plays when it counts. Not making CDs, not going around with stacks of paper showing it off to everyone. I really want to see what Rico Gathers can do out there on the field. Look, it's just me telling you guys the truth. You know, as far as this team, they need to just figure out, okay, because from what I'm hearing, that everybody's on Blake Jarwin, you know. So undoubtedly, a Blake Jarwin, a Jeff Swaim, these are the second coming. These are the heir apparents of Jason Witten. So Rico Gathers need to be studying that playbook instead of studying them 16 bars, whatever he can spit. Trust me, the kid may have some flames out there, but 9 times out of 10, if you haven't heard of him by now, then 9 times out of 10, he's not going to make it by later. You know what I mean? Nobody going out there saying, hey, man, them Rico bars go hard. You know, I'm jumping there to the club right now. The kid from Baylor, you know, played basketball, tried to play football, but he got hit by the Frazier. You know what I mean? And laid out. Can you imagine the diss rap on that? Somebody coming out talking about, I'm going to knock you out like Frazier. You couldn't come back, you know what I mean, to play all year. You know what I mean? Somebody going to come back with some bars on this guy. But neither here nor there. You know, it's football, and I know everybody get hurt, you know. But it is what it is. All right, so Will Hernandez will be the next Great Dallas, Great Wall of Dallas. That's from Andrew Castillo. Hey, I've been saying this to the high heavens. If you go out and get a Will Hernandez, that's part of the core. If you go out and get a Vita Vea, that's part of the core. And if you figure out what you're going to do with the second round draft pick, you know that that's Jerry Jones' GM. Jerry Jones been picking with the second round draft pick for a long time now. And I really think that Jerry Jones saying, I'm going to get me a wide receiver. You know, I don't know that if anybody can match the production of a Dez Bryant, but you know how that goes, right? You know, but I want me some glory hole. You know, that's how Jerry Jones is going to sell this thing. He's going to look. This is my prediction. If Cortland Sutton played for the Dallas Cowboys, he will be wearing number 81. It's going to be the same thing going over and over again. Oh, he looks like a baby T.O. or he looks like such and such, you know. And it's just one of those things where I'm feeling that that's the angle the Cowboys going. If it's a bad pick, I don't think so. I think Cortland Sutton have a high ceiling. But it's one of those things where you can solidify your defense and have everybody saying, okay, when we go out there and play them Dallas Cowboys, man, they stingy with their points. And then when their offense have the ball, they have Ezekiel Elliott in the offensive front line. They beat us half to death that way too as well. We don't know which way to do. We don't know how to play this team. They stingy with the ball, and then they have guys flying out to the ball. You know how scrappy Jordan Lewis is. We know how scrappy Cheeto Beawuzie. I just listened to 105.3 The Fan, Byron Jones. Hopefully when I get back later on tonight, I can just play that clip for everybody. Byron Jones was talking about, hey, This guy, Cheeto Bay Awuzie, you think Jordan Lewis talk a lot of trash. You know what I mean? Wait till you guys hear Cheeto Bay Awuzie. He's the guy that really gets under people's skin. And everybody was sleeping on Cheeto Bay Awuzie because he was injured with the hamstring and all that stuff. And one thing I want everybody to do this year, if you have your lucky Cowboy socks, if you have your lucky hat or your lucky shirt, I want you to wear that all the time we playing so these guys can have their hamstrings together. Whatever you do, please wear that lucky stuff pretty much this weekend too as well, or coming Thursday. Please wear your lucky stuff because I'm tired of these hamstrings. If we need to have anybody to be responsible for last year, can we throw in hamstrings at this point? I know I'm trying to be kind of crazy right here, but those hamstrings have caused us, I think at least caused us about 2 or 3 games, you know. So if we can figure out how our conditioning coach can just help out with the player's hamstring. I know football is a war of attrition, but we need to figure out that, you know. And then we need to figure out too as well, although we was ranked 8th overall in defense, we need to figure out how to get some turnovers. And I think that's what Earl Thomas is going to do. He's going to line Cheeto Bay Awuzie up and say, okay, in this particular scheme, I know it's a cover 2, but we playing Chris Richards' scheme. This is where the ball is going to be located from the pressure predicated from the line. This is where you need to be. And this is why I feel that Earl Thomas who will help craft this team so much better when it comes to the chance of playing out there in the National Football League against somebody pretty much. We saw how valuable Barry Church was. We saw how valuable some of the players that played in 2016 as it relates to just lining up players right. And not saying that Barry Church was world class, right? Well, he's world class off the field, and I think that he does a lot of things for our charity and all this stuff. But I'm not saying that he was like lights out player. But can you imagine a player that's light years beyond and head of Barry Church out there, putting people in right places? And we can have that dream of saying, okay, well, let's just hope Jeff Heath get this thing together. And what about Kevon Frazier? He's going to have everything together. Give the young guys chances. But no, let's implement. Let's put, just for one, just don't rush it, because I do not want to see us give away a second and a fourth and a third, whatever, you know, for this guy. But let's just not rush it. Let's just chill out, relax, and say, okay, Seattle Seahawks, let's play it different. Okay, you guys want a second? People in hell want ice water. Okay, but let's do this. You don't have a second round draft pick, so you don't know how it feels to play right now. And then on top of that, Earl Thomas already came to us, so we don't have to rush at all. We can just sit back and relax and sip on this yak. You know how it goes from there. And we sipping on the yak because you know that Jerry Jones going to be having the Johnny Walker Blue in his in his area, and we going to sit back. And we just need to sit back and relax. And when that third round come around, we say, okay, Seattle, I tell you what, straight up, we give you this third round draft pick. We know that you've been spying this particular player from the people that you draft previously. We give you this third round draft pick, and we'll take the burden of Earl Thomas, the old guy off your team, and we'll take care of the $10 million. Pretty much, you can stretch the $10 million to a 3-year deal, level it out to probably about $8 million a year, $7 to $8 million a year. And now you have your cement in place on this defense. And I'm thinking that that's the way to go, guys. And this is going to give a quick shout out to everybody who tuned in to the show today. It's just been a pleasure, man. I'm talking about for you guys tuning in. I'm going to try to do this pretty much every day when I get off of work, of just giving you guys my thoughts of what's going on. But shout out to Sam in the house, Starboy _50, Say Prime Time, Charles, Reckless, Anthony, who's that? Tone Sosa, Jod H, Brandon Wiggins, Captain FC34 in the house. Shout out to you too as well. Silver and Blue Nation. Hey, we're gonna be live tomorrow. We're gonna be live tomorrow at Mike Fisher's joint. It's somewhere north 1616 Hebron Drive or something like that up north. I think it's in the Plano Carrollton area. I will post a link down below so I can hear you guys and see you guys face to face. and we can talk about the pre-draft show. It's going to be live, lit, and ready. I still have my offer on the table for any Eagle fan. The first Eagle fan that approached me, I still have my offer. I'll buy you a beer. I'm not going to give you a cookie. I'm going to buy you a beer so you can chill out and have your celebratory drink in front of my face and all this good stuff. Hey, it is what it is at this time. Salute to you guys. Hey, you still got 4 rings to go to catch up with us, baby. And that's a long road to get to that fourth and that 5th ring. Shout out to Boomer Sooner. Shout out to you too as well. I hope your college team do well this year. Sky High 22. Shout out to you too as well. Let's get this thing going. Let me know, because I hope I'm not choppy, and I hope that DDP's recommendation of changing my bit rate have me all smooth so you guys can see me when I rock and roll. Yes, but it's time for me to get crunk with this music, because you guys know how it goes, right? Jada, I see you, fam. You said die, Eagles, die. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something. We gotta play them god doggone rascal Eagles twice this year. I want to bring that thunder to sharpen my face and still start. Michael, shout out to you. Listening to nothing but the best.